I am listening to nearly 100 albums from the year 1955, and I just finished listening to the self titled record by Tony Fruscella, released on Atlantic. Tony Fruscella is a very kind of forgotten name, I think, as far as the jazz musicians and specifically jazz trumpeters that came out in the mid 50s. Fruscella is a little bit more adjacent to the kind of West Coast cool jazz scene that was coming around at about this time, which differentiates him from the Miles Davises of the world, perhaps, puts him a little bit more in line with like your Chet Bakers and that sort of thing. And this record is touted by some as kind of a lost classic or adjacent to a lost classic. And I don't know if I would go that far, but this is kind of a cool under the radar trumpet led record here. There's a really good ensemble here. And again, as I said, it evokes a little bit more kind of the Gil Evans breed of jazz, that kind of birth of the cool adjacent stuff that Miles was doing in the late 40s. But still a little bit of a bop edge to it. Frisell's a really solid player. I think he's very expressive. You hear that on a lot of the tracks, including the opening track, I'll Be Seeing You, which might be my favorite on the record. Just a really solid trumpet player and works well in this material and with the ensemble that he's playing with. Now, unfortunately, this will end up being the last or one of the only major studio releases that Frisella will ever have. He ends up becoming kind of a sideman for people. Eventually, his career kind of falls apart due to addiction, and he passes away in the late 60s. So, definitely a very isolated, rare gem type of record, a moment in time captured, a what if type of musical story in many ways. Would have been very interesting to hear what he would have done longer term had he been able to continue. But as kind of an isolated piece, and also an early example of Atlantic getting really into the jazz scene in the mid 50s, this is quite good. Definitely worth checking out if you've explored a lot of the big names around this period and are looking for someone else to dive into. Self titled record by Tony Frisella. Quite good stuff. Highly worth your time.